Yo, what's up, guys? It's Noah from Glitchmaker, and recently I played in a very small NR format tournament, and I walked with it 3-0. I played Paleo Tier, otherwise known as Mill.dek, and my list is what I want to talk about, and I might show some games after. Starting out, one Gym Knight Sapphire, one Metalfoes Steelin, and one Despian Comedy. These are just fusion targets. Gym Knight Sapphire is partially a target for Primite Howl, which we'll get to later. Sapphire and Comedy are also walls I can just set if I need to. Sapphire is an aqua and Comedy is a dark for grief too. Steelin is the only one of these three I would prefer to never see in my hand. I can see corner cases where I'd want one of these two in hand. Very rarely will I want Steelin in hand unless I am immediately hitting a tier name and making Crimsonite. Next is Soul Scissors. If a monster on the field is destroyed by battle or card effects into the grave while it's in grave, I can special summon it but banish it when it leaves the field. And if it's special summoned from grave, I can target a monster my opponent controls and destroy it. 3 Laundry Dragon Maid. If she is normal or special summoned, I can mill 3. That's all she does. I'm not on dragon form in this list. Nurse. If she is normal or special summoned, I can target a level 4 lower Dragon Maid in grave and special summon it. Obviously, I'm summoning Laundry. This is like the tier cache loop of the deck. When you play advanced format, Paleo tier is looping tier cache, and that's going to be milling a bunch of cards. Obviously, that's not available in this format. So we're looping Laundry Dragon Maid with cards like Nurse and Tidying. 3 Merly, normal or special summon, I can send top 3 and she's sent to graveyard. I can fusion summon a fusion from extra by placing the materials from hand, field, or grave on bottom of my deck. She is also a lot of these are level 2, and that is very good because I am always making rank 2s. Almost every game I make a rank 2. And if one of my rank 2s fail, I'm making another one. Easy as that. Magical Idol Soul. If a monster is special summoned by my trap effect, except during damage step, I can special summon it from hand or grave, banish it when leaves field, and during my opponent's battle phase, I can either quick effect synchro or quick effect Xyz summon. And it is a tuner, which is why I'm on a singular synchro. 1 tier Havness. When my opponent activates a monster effect on field, I can chain her and then mill 3. And same fusion effect as Merly. 1 Fearless Lightsworn Archer. Can't be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by a card effect. If she's sent from deck to grave by a monster effect, I can summon her back. And I can tribute her. Target a monster the opponent controls. Destroy it. And mill 3. I am not playing any Synchro 6s because I would just prefer to use her pop effect. 1 Shaddoll Dragon. The flip effect very rarely comes up. I'm mainly playing it for the if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, I can target a spell trap on field, destroy it effect. 1 Danger Mothman. Just like every other danger, I can reveal it. My opponent randomly chooses 1 card from my entire hand, then discard the card. And if it wasn't Danger Mothman, I summon Mothman and draw a card. If it is discarded, it gets its effect, which is Dark World Dealings, essentially. Which is because there are a lot of cards I want to see hitting the graveyard. I wanted to be able to get them out of my hand because sometimes I found myself struggling to get them out of my hand. which is why I was on Mothman. One Flower Dino cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by its effect. And I can only use effect once per turn. If you activate a trap or the opponent activates a spell card, I can special summon it from hand. If it's sent to grave, I can target 3 banished traps, return, place them on bottom of the appropriate decks, and then draw 1. Shaddoll Beast, flip effect doesn't come up much. If it's sent to grave by card effect, I draw 1. Cutter Shark, when a card or effect is activated that targets one monster I control and other monsters, or if they target a monster I control for an attack while it's in hand or grave, I can quick effect, tribute, and special summon this monster. And if it's special summoned, I can fire it off and then add a water from grave to hand in end phase. I would be playing more of this if I could. It is limited to 1 in NR format. Havness is limited to 2. Soul is limited to 1. 1 Hellshaddoll Hollow. Flip effect really doesn't matter. If it's into graveyard by card effect, I can mill from the top equal to the number of different original attributes among monsters on the field. At most, this is milling 6, which is very good. Usually I am milling about 2 to 3, but that is just fine because almost everything else is milling 2 to 3. 1 tier limits a grief, special summon a tier from deck or graveyard, then send 1 monster I control to the grave with the same type or attributes. And if it's into grave by card effect, I can target a banished tier trap and add it to hand. That's very rarely happening. Heartbeat, I can target a spell trap on the field, or 2 if I control Visa Starfrost. Spoiler alert, I'm never going to control Visa Starfrost. Shuffle them to deck and draw and send a card from hand to grave. And if it's into the graveyard by card effect, I can target a tier trap in grave, add it to hand. That actually comes up. 2 Paleozoic Canadia, target a face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to face-down defense. It's a slower Book of Moon, but once per chain, when the trap card is activated while it's in grave, you can special summon it as a normal monster, which is a Aqua Water level 2 with 1200 attack, 0 defense. Every Paleo has that trap monster effect. Dynamiscus, target a face-up card on the field. Discard 1 card, and if I do, banish it. The discard is for effect, which does matter. Morelia, bends a trap from deck to grave. Lost Wind, target 1 face-up special summon monster on the field. Negates effects, its original attack is halved. If a monster is special summoned from my opponent's extra deck while it's in grave, I can set it, banish it when it leaves the field. This card is at 1. I honestly don't know if I would play more copies of it if it wasn't at 1. 2 Tidying. It's at 2, but I can target a dragon monster I control on a card my opponent controls or in their graveyard, return them to hand. I can banish it from grave, special summon a dragon made from hand or graveyard, and defense return it to hand during end phase. This card, I love it, but also it can be very annoying to draw, especially if you don't see one of your maids. 2 Backup Team. Draw cards equal to the number of cards your opponent controls and place cards from hand to bottom of the deck in any order equal to the number of cards I drew. During end phase, if my opponent controls more cards than I do while it's in graveyard, I can set it but banish it when it leaves field. Primite Howl, declare a normal monster card name. I take no battle damage from battles involving normal monsters or primite monsters for the rest of the turn. Then if I control no monsters, I can special summon one of the declared normal monster from my deck or graveyard. Note how it does not have to summon anything. And then during the opponent's turn, I can banish it from grave, then target a normal monster I control or in my graveyard. Take control of 1 monster my opponent controls that has more attack than the targeted monster. Both of these have 0 attack, so I can pretty much take anything that has a minuscule amount of attack points. And all the Paleos are normal monsters, so if I control 1, I can take something with more than 1200. And 1 tier Soliek. If I control a tier elements monster or Visa Starfrost, I can target an effect monster the opponent controls, negates effects, then send 1 monster I control to graveyard, and if it's sent to the graveyard by card effect, I can add a tier monster from deck to hand. For the extra deck, 1 Gem Knight Amethyst. This is the fusion target for Sapphire, 2 Crimsonites. This is the fusion target for Steelin. 2 Proskinian, the fusion target for Comedy. I will get into why I'm on 2 of these 2 in a bit. 1 Mary Melfi's, because sometimes I might synchro summon, and if I do, I'm usually making a 4. 1 Herald of Pure Light, detach 1, then target a monster in my graveyard, add it to hand, shuffle 1 card from here back into the deck. 2 Cat Shark, well, it has a card that is originally attached. It has a material attached that was originally water. It can't be destroyed by battle, and once per turn on quick effect, I can detach 1, the target rank 4 lower Xyz monster, double its original attack and defense until end of turn. This is usually how I'm swinging for lethal if I don't have Proskinian in rotation. Phantom Knights of Cursed Javelin. Detach 1 from its target face-up monster my opponent controls. Its attack becomes 0, and its effects are negated. Mannequin Cat. Once per turn, I can detach 1, target a monster in my opponent's graveyard, special summon it to their field, and if a monster is special summoned to my opponent's field while I control, while I control this card, I can target a face-up monster my opponent controls, special summon 1 monster with the same type or attribute from hand, deck, or graveyard, and I am running almost every attribute. The only attribute I am not running in this deck is a wind. 1 Haggard Lizardos, banish 1 monster from face-up field or graveyard with 2,000 lesser attack, then target a monster on the field. Make its attack become equal to the original attack of the monster I banished. Then if I banished a monster that was originally a reptile, draw 1. This can either be used to get a free draw, beat over something, or to get a free Cutter Shark trigger. Triple Burst Dragon. Once per turn during damage step, when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, quick effect, negate the activation. If it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing, and during my main phase, except the turn it was special summoned, I could tribute it, then target a link 2 or lower monster in grave, special summon it, then I can special summon a level 4 or lower dragon from hand. That may hypothetically come up like once in 100 games. Power Code Talker. Once per turn, I can target a face-up monster on the field, negate its effects until end of turn. Once per turn, if this card battles an opponent's monster, during damage calc, I can quick effect tribute a monster it points to, and it doubles its original attack during that damage calc only. Now let's actually get into the details of the list. There are a lot of cards I'm just straight up not running. A lot of the big main deck payouts people run, like some Tyranno guy or Laundry's Dragon Form, things to just big bombs people drop. I'm not running any of those. I tried running them. They were almost always dead in hand, and especially because I was running Despian Comedy, I already had enough big beaters. Like, what's the point of having another main deck beater when, as long as I see Comedy, I can make see Comedy, hit a tier name, have a light in rotation, which I can either have Felis or Mannequin Cat in rotation. I can just make a Proskinian and then start looping Proskinian. So really, what's the point in me running a big body in the main deck, in a deck that already has so many cards that might not do something when you draw them? And on top of that, I can loop Proskinian. And the reason you want to loop your big fusion monsters that require multiple material is because this is in our format. Games are going to take longer. So you're just going to put everything back into the deck to make sure you don't deck out. I was on Paleozoic Canadia, which is not very typical of NR Paleo tier lists. And the reason I decided to run it very last minute is because it is 2 more Paleos in my deck, and it is a card that is usually immediately activatable. I was on high rate draw. And our paleo tier lists do tend to run high rate draw. I cut it because it was almost never doing anything. Every time I had it on field, there's a 50-50 chance that the game would end before I ever activated high rate draw. Whereas Canada, and high rate draw would never actually do anything for me. Like, when I activated it, it was always in a game that was already immediately apparent I was going to win that. Paleozoic Canada, on the other hand, this card mattered a lot. I'm just going to say it. I'm pretty sure it did matter. I'm pretty sure it is the reason I won at least one game. Having extra Paleos to summon was also very nice. It's an effect that allows me to potentially survive another turn, which a lot of my other traps that activate with effects on field may not, or they are not immediately activatable. Which is why I really liked running this card. I probably would not cut this in the future. Backup team. I decided to run 2 backup team instead of 1 backup team in a high rate draw. Backup team is an immediately activatable trap card. That's it. I wanted to maximize the amount of cards I had that were immediately activatable or didn't require too much setup if I were to open them. Because this deck is running a lot of cards that don't immediately do something if I open them. Sapphire, Stealing, Comedy, Fearless, Nurse is only live if Dragon Maid, if Laundry's engraved, which, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I'm getting a Laundry engraved pretty fast anyway, but Shadal Beast isn't live immediately. Hell Shadal Hollow is especially not live immediately. Tidying is, in my experience, rarely live immediately. There's just a lot of cards in this deck that just did not do anything did not do anything if I opened them. Maybe they did something if I opened something else or I hit a good mill, but if I opened them, I didn't want them in hand, and I'm running a lot of these cards. It's expected to open at least one of them in a hand. I did not want to open too many of them, which is why I cut as many cards as I thought I reasonably could that did nothing. As for the extra deck, only 1 Amethyst because I very rarely was making a second one. Unlike Crimsonite and Proskinian, where if I summoned the first one, I usually was making a second. More so with Crimsonite. Proskinian, if it hit the board, the game's pretty much ending within the next couple of turns. For cards that I just straight up did not make my extra deck, Mary Melfi's, Cursed Javelin, Triple Burst, I do not think I made. I don't think I made Haggard. I might have made it once, I'm not sure. But Mary Melfi's, Cursed Javelin, and Triple Burst I did not make. Personally, I would not cut the Mary Melfi's or Cursed Javelin. You can cut a Cat Shark or Mannequin Cat, but in testing, having the second one definitely mattered. And it did matter in the event too. But that is pretty much the entire list. Those are some of my thoughts surrounding the list. Oh yeah, Mothman. That's not typically played in this deck. I just wanted it's not typically played in the NR list that I've seen. It's pretty commonly played in TCG Paleo tier lists alongside Nessie. We don't have Nessie here. But Mothman just gets rid of unwanted cards. Puts them in grave because their graveyard effects are more useful. That's pretty much it. But now, that's pretty much everything for this list. Uh, I did save 2 replays, so we can. So I will play those now. Now I'm gonna give my thoughts on NR format. Uh, I think it's really fun. It was an experience of Yu-Gi-Oh that I don't know if I could have gotten from actual the current format or modern Yu-Gi-Oh in general. It is definitely a way different ballpark than what I'm used to and what I've played because I started playing competitively. I want to say right at the tail end of Toss, maybe right after, well, getting into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. And NR format was a crazy change of pace. Everything felt so much different than what I'm used to, and I am absolutely down to try it again. And I am very happy with how my deck performed. 3-0. My opponent didn't show for round one, unfortunately. Uh, game two, I sort of got lucky with the Paleo tier mill. Sometimes the deck just does that. And round three, my butt was clenched round three because I did not open great in the first game. I didn't see the best. I saw a hand. It wasn't the best hand. Game two, my hand was a bit better, and I closed it out a lot faster because I was able to get everything in online really early. But would I play NR format again? Absolutely. It was so fun. I would definitely play another NR format tournament. So you got the thoughts of a guy whose for NR format experience boils down to the original Master Duel event, and he likes it. But outside of that, no plans to play NR format in the near future. But I do have plans to play in the future. Uh, I'm Noah from Glitchmaker, and I will see you guys next time.